original music podcast.
All right, here we go. Episode 58. We have Mother Misery.
Yeah.
Mother Misery, a band out of it's near Stockholm, Sweden. Tonight we have John Hermanson, the singer and guitar player of the band. How you doing, John?
Hello, Ray. I'm doing fine, thanks. It's awesome to be on the show.
Thank you, man. Thanks for coming on. We were talking off air for a few minutes there, and you guys are friends with Cardang. Those guys, and that's
actually very recently friends on Facebook, and but we share comments and yays and stuff like that.
Yeah, well,
they seem like really fun guys. So
the video,
good music.
Their video, I can't remember which one it was, but they just look like they have fun,
Yeah,
and
you mean the one with the naked guy jumping into the water?
Yeah, well,
that's a cool video.
Yeah, with the cops, the car chases, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, let's talk about Mother Misery. How long have you guys been a band together?
Actually, this year we kind of should be celebrating 20 years.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we released the first album, Grandiosity, in 2004.
Wow!
So before that, me and Thomas, who just left the band. We're still friends and everything, but he and me started the band and kind of wrote all the songs along. But he had a kind of a thrash metal band who got split, and I had a they called Clench, and my band was a more heavy hard rock band called the Grey Hate.
Yeah.
So those two bands stopped to exist. And we started talking about, we should write something together. Yeah, so in 1998, we started out and we started writing pop songs but soon we just came back to the hard rock heavy metal again.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. But so we had enough material. So we called his old bandmates, Jens Wiede on drums and Urian Baudin on bass.
Yeah.
And so we started a band. We called ourselves Nosedive.
Oh, cool.
Because we couldn't find anything else. But we released a few songs on some compilations around Europe. I think even US at the time.
Yeah.
I can't remember where, but then when we had enough material for one complete album, we just said that. We needed to change the name because it didn't feel like it suited us.
Yeah. Nosedive. So Nosedive could have a couple of different connotations, an airplane, airplane crashing and that kind of thing. Well, you guys,
it's more like a punk band or something.
You guys have a great, good, straight hard rock sound, and a lot of that comes from your throat. Your voice is killer, man. You're
cool.
Have you? You just said that you were kind of doing some pop stuff. I don't hear that voice doing pop stuff.
No, that's why we didn't do it.
Right? Yeah, that's why it didn't last.
No.
Well, that's awesome. 20 years. So I mean, you guys have been, you guys were kids when you first started this thing.
We were.
And it's funny how quickly the years go by. You just keep your dream going. For me, I have to write. Is that the same with you guys? You have to write original music.
Yeah, it is. Of course, we have normal jobs and we have families, so everything takes its time. Mm-hmm. And I mean, since we got kids, the time just sped up about 10 times, I think. And then writing is needed, but I think for me at least, I need to do one thing at a time.
Yeah.
So I write music, concentrate on because I write all the lyrics as well.
Yeah.
and I write the ideas often to the music, and then we write them together and finish them together.
Yeah.
And then we record, and then we release the album. Then we go for live show, play or whatever, and then it starts over again. So.
Yeah, and you've got 4 guys, and it's a 4-piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you guys get together to finish the songs, everybody contributes to, hey, what do you think about this or that, and then that's how you get longevity of a band, is working together like that.
Yeah. I mean, in the first 2 albums, we rehearsed all the songs together, from the smallest idea to a finished song.
Right.
Except for the vocal melodies, I tend to work on that myself.
Right.
I don't know why, it's just how it's been. But then the 2 albums after that, or 3, it kind of was that I wrote most of the songs, finished the demos, and then I presented it to the band, and then we worked on the smaller stuff at the end.
Right.
And Thomas was a big contributor as well, because he came with all the solos and a lot of the melodies and harmonies on top of that.
Right.
But this last album, we actually went back to like we did from the start. We all kind of wrote it almost from the beginning until the end together in the studio, and that was fantastic. It was fun to be back to do that again, because it's so much better, I think.
I agree.
At least for us at least.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's rare cases that you can have an artist that develops, writes it, thinks about it, writes it, develops it, records all the parts, and then says, all right, here, live band, just play these parts. Prince being the first to mind that could pull that off. But collaboration is, I mean, you're just going to think about something, different angle of a break or transition to a chorus than I will, and I mean, that's when it's really fun, to
it is
working with other people.
Yeah. In the beginning, I remember me and Thomas, we could fight a lot.
Yeah, sure.
We were younger then, and we stood up to our own ideas so hard that if the other one I don't like that. What?
Yeah.
So we could start an argument. We could shout at each other sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's the passion.
But later, it is, and it was fun as well in the afterwards. But it led to something good. But later on, we just learned that we try everybody's ideas, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and you're okay with it.
Right. Yeah. At least it's gone through the democratic process.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's probably the best way. So I'm not going to ask you your age, but I'm going to guess 30.
You can do that.
I'm going to guess.
I'm turning
38.
Oh, thanks, man.
No, you
have to.
You're getting a little older.
I'm turning 51. I'm turning 51 in 1 month.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I mean, I'm 53, and I still have the passion that I had.
You don't look like 53.
Well, we're drinking good water, I guess.
Yeah.
But I still have the passion that I had when I was a kid. When I pick up a guitar, I try to initially play something. I tune up, obviously, quietly, like a pro, and then whatever the first thing, I try to not play something that I already know. I always try to, just whatever comes out, let's. And so ideas come just as easily now than they ever did before. The difference is now I have all this cool equipment that I can actually, record this stuff and capture it.
That's awesome.
You ever wondered how many songs and music ideas and riffs that you've forgotten?
Oh my God.
Because you didn't have
thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands.
Since you didn't, these things, the iPhone with the voice memo thing on it, I think it's been one of my greatest tools to not lose.
Yeah, me too.
Lose stuff,
I have I think it's called Zoom as well, the Zoom app. And I listen through it sometimes. Oh, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of those things are on this album.
Oh yeah.
Actually.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Small snippets or whatever. It's like.
Yeah.
It's somewhere.
Yeah, it's fun to go back, to the well, so to speak, and be plugged in at the Pro Tools rig over here and go, okay, what was I thinking here? That's got some legs. Let me develop that and just let's talk about a little. Go ahead.
So sorry. Do you ever get an idea that is so good that you have almost the whole song in your head? Maybe I get it sometimes when I'm about to sleep or something, and I record it with my voice in the phone, and then the day after it's all gone. And I listen to the idea and I don't get it, and it's like, fuck. Yeah. It was a great idea. Where is it? So,
yeah. Sometimes they come and go. For me though, like I said, as I don't sing and I don't write lyrics necessarily. I have here and there, but it's usually a riff, and it usually happens when I have a guitar in my hand with some sort of a sound, and I'll just capture it on the phone and go forward. But let's talk about recording. Are you guys Pro Tools guys? Are you Ableton, Logic? What are you guys using? Tape?
Logic Pro X.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's no particular reason. It's just bought it and I liked it, and we're not actually how do you call it? I don't know much about it. I'm no professional. I just know I've been working in Cubase since I was 20 years old. Yeah. And then I've always done that, and for the older albums as well. But maybe before Megalodon or something like that, we bought Max to the studio. Yeah. And we bought later on. We bought Logic program, and I loved it. Yeah. I'm just sticking with it because for me it's easy now. I know as work we don't do the mixes ourselves. We don't do the mastering ourselves. So it's good enough recording program, and then we send it off to mastering and mixing. Okay.
So all right, let's unpack a little bit of that. I think it's a very smart idea to go with a DAW that you want, that you like, is makes sense to you, and that you're gonna stick with. I've been using Pro Tools now for 15 years, and and I'm kind of stuck in that universe now. But the problem is now, I got to upgrade, and then a new operating system comes out. Now I got to upgrade and this and this. Yeah. With Logic, I think the biggest benefit is it records great and does the same thing that Pro Tools does. But B, it's an Apple product designed to work with Apple products, no matter what operating system comes out. You buy it once for $200 and you're done.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons as well, I think, because I have equipment in my studio, 2 notes, the 2 notes cabinet IR that I use for recording my Marshall amp into the 2 notes from the speaker out into the load box. Oh, okay. And I got the IRs in there, and we bought it pretty cheap, but it's quite an expensive piece of hardware, and I updated the computer, and it works only on 32 bits. Yep. And that disappeared from my computer, so now I had to put an old laptop on the side to use for that one. So stuff like that happens as well.
That's funny you just say that, because I'm going through the exact same thing right now. My rig is a 32-bit rig, and I got seduced by a plug-in boutique ad that says, "Hey, get this Black Star Jared James Nichols plug-in. You get 6L6 amps and you get EL34 amps. It's awesome." So I bought it, and my machine won't open it because it's 64-bit. So now I gotta buy a new computer just to try the plug-in. But it's time for me. It's time for me to do an upgrade, and and that's also a good point. Is keep your old rigs that still work. You might, when you update to the new shiny, new shiny ring, keep at least one of your old rigs around so that you can go back to sounds that were in there that won't be in the new stuff.
Exactly.
So when you record, are you recording like in a room, rehearsal room like this, or are you going to a pro studio and renting time and having engineers?
We go. Oh yeah, we used to do 3-4 albums back to the Standing Alone album and the Dedication EP album.
Yeah,
we recorded professionally in a studio in a town nearby.
Yeah, everything
done there. But on the Megalodon album, the former album, we recorded drums in Gothenburg at Johan Reivén. He's a drummer of a Swedish band called Luke.
Okay.
A really big Swedish band known for he's the one of Sweden's best drummers.
Oh wow.
And he have a studio that I think from the beginning focused on recording drums.
Right.
But now he's recording, Hardcore Superstar, those kind of bands.
Yeah.
And mastering and mixing as well. So he's really great. So we recorded the drums there, and we were supposed to do the same thing with this album, but Corona came. We didn't find the right time to go there, so we decided to use that money to buy our own, to upgrade our studio with better mics, preamps, stuff like that.
Sure.
And record everything ourselves.
Right.
But I picked up a lot from him. One thing was to use. He had built, and I also built my own sub. Like the kick sub you can buy.
Yeah.
I built those from my own, sub speakers for the toms and for the floor toms and the bass drum, so we could get that extra punch from everything. Reverse it and get that big speaker to act as like a sub mic.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool. I mean,
so we got a really fat drum sound.
Yeah, and that's another thing I noticed on the tracks that we'll play here in just a second. Like you were just saying about his studio, he focused on getting good drum sounds. Well, once a studio has that ability, everything else is kind of easy to record.
Yeah, it is,
because drums have to sound great, or the song is going to be anemic.
Yeah, it is, and that was kind of fun. I like to do the miking and the recording, that kind of work. I love it because you move it centimeters or millimeters to find the right angle or whatever. You have to how to put the overheads and stuff like that.
Yeah,
for me that is fun, and to be able to achieve and when you hear that, this is sounding pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
And of course the mixing guy Michael at MRG in Sweden did a fantastic job, because we didn't have a great drum room. We did as best as we could,
right,
with not too much damping and stuff like that. So
yeah. Are you using any tricks like samplings, where you can use samples of kick drums and stuff, and you can replace the analog with MIDI and stack your drum sound with a MIDI drum at the same time? That kind of stuff. You doing any of that?
No.
Yeah, I do a lot of those drums.
Yeah, we did on the Standing Alone album. I think he did some sound replacement with or build on with the drums. Yeah, I think he did that. Yeah. But not on these. I actually asked Michael, who's doing the mixing, if he used any kind of. I don't think he did too much on this. And
last thing,
but it's.
Go ahead. Well, last thing, before we listen to Fade Away, is you've captured your recordings, you've got the songs done. You're talking about you're sending them off for mixing and mastering. When you do that, are you sending the stems of kick stem, snare stem, tom, vocal? So you may send him a pack of 32 mono tracks that may just have a snippet of something halfway through the song. And then he's got to figure that out and make it sound awesome.
Yeah, we just really careful, or really mark them up as well as I can, which mic it is, what it belongs to. And then we put everything in drum in small folders, and we use Dropbox.
Yes, we do.
So Dropbox, I send him the link, and he just download from there.
Yeah,
and uploads when it's done.
Yeah, so that's a very important thing that you just said, and I do the same thing, but probably a little different. Like, it's so important to name your tracks, with information that's important. And in that case that you're talking about, here's the SM57 guitar left, Marshall 412 cab. A lot of times, not necessarily when I'm doing stems, but whenever I have an idea, I just wrote an idea the other day and sent it to the guys. I always name it the name of the idea, and then 72 BPM. So that they can drop it into their rig and put it on the grid and be able to work with it. So naming songs and stuff like that is I mean, naming files is so important. And then another thing, like you said, is Dropbox or an equivalent, a cloud-based storage that you can share a link or a folder with, and then whoever can get all the assets out of that folder.
Yeah. It's very convenient to use it.
Yeah, they didn't have that back 20 years ago when we
sending CDs and stuff.
Well, I remember in '95 getting my first computer just because, oh my God, it can burn a CD. So I had analog tape through a board, and I would send stereo out of that into the computer just so I could burn discs. We've come a long way.
It's cool to been through all that, though.
Yeah, and
to know the struggle.
Yeah, learning a part on a song using a cassette where you play it, stop quick, rewind quick, play quick, re-listen to it. Those struggles. It's a long time ago. Fade Away. Mother Misery on Spotify. Fade Away is a lot of listens on that one. What can you tell me about that track?
That track was on Standing Alone album, and actually it was when we said we were done recording the album. I think it was me saying we need another song. We need another song, and I think I wrote that one. It came in late, and it became the most played song from that album.
Wow. And what's it?
And
what's it about?
In the video, it's about I don't remember.
it faded away.
No, it's I think basically it's about how to explain it. Getting rid of a personality that you don't want.
Oh, okay. Shedding skin, so to speak.
Discovering that you are not what you want to be, and maybe treating people bad, whatever, and you just like fade that away.
Right. Yeah, that's a great idea. Well, let's check it out. Fade Away from Mother Misery.
Come whisper it in my ear. Do something.
That's awesome, dude. Great drum sounds. Great guitar sounds. You said earlier that you were you're using Marshall cabs. What are you using on that? And are you playing the octave counter melody parts or the droning? The droning. What part are you playing on that?
On this this song, I'm playing the da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Okay.
And the Thomas in this case was playing the octave.
Yeah.
But when we recorded this album, actually, I did. How should I call it? I did all the rhythm parts.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he did all the solo parts, even if he played some of the rhythm parts live, and I did some of the other parts, so that we get the tightness of it.
Yeah,
doing the same rhythm. But that's more of a. I think that's like a taste thing. If you want it that way or not.
Right. Yeah. Are you doing? I do it almost exclusively on everything where you double your part. As exact as you can to make it just grow in width.
Yeah. And we do it both ways, actually. Sometimes, mostly on choruses, we double the parts. Often also in riff parts, and sometimes in verses we can do only one guitar.
Sure.
On the side or whatever.
Yeah. And I did.
But on the last album we did not do as the ones before. We actually did. He did his rhythm part, and I did my rhythm part, even if it was the same melody or riff.
Right.
We did our own.
Right.
So it sounds a bit different, but I like this way as well. Yeah.
I think in my case, in pretty much almost all the bands, I'm the only guitar player. So when I'm recording, I play with myself. That doesn't sound good, but it sounds good when I do it.
Yeah. But it sounds good when you play with yourself. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I heard a little bit. I really like the. It doesn't go halftime, but there's a breakdown. I guess it kind of does go halftime, and I heard a little bit of a flanger or phaser going on the second time it went through that part. On the guitars, that sounded really cool.
Yeah, cool. We have that's cool. Yeah,
it's interesting, and I've been noticing it a lot doing the podcast. Is that when I'm previewing people's songs with my in-ears in, man, I can hear every nuance. I can hear, it's amazing how much you lose, like just driving in a car and listening to music. You're missing a lot of stuff that was intended. I heard the AM radio on the vocal kind of effect at some point. The drums.
It's cool to get those small stuff, whatever, details, into a song. And details, and it only happens once maybe or something in the song, but still they're there for people who hear them.
Yeah, I noticed it. You know, that's why you did it. You know, so you're using Marshall heads. We didn't finish that. I don't think Marshall heads and cabinets.
No, actually, it's been kind of different on that record. We did 5150s, I think, mainly on the album, because that was the studio's amps.
Right.
We had our own amps as well, but we tried everyone, and this fits most to this, and blah blah blah. So I couldn't tell you what cabinet it was, but I think it was either 412, but maybe Marshall or I think it was Marshall's, but I don't remember that.
Yeah.
But today, Thomas used Kemper and for this album, his Kemper, and I used my Marshall JVM 410 100 watts going into this 2 notes IR loader.
Yeah, I've got to look that one up because I'm not real familiar. You say it's two notes.
2 notes. 2 notes. I think it's French.
Right.
It's really good.
And so you come out of the amp speaker output with
into this one
wattage. You put your high wattage.
Into
this.
Into this. And then you could go back from this into the cabinet.
Sure.
Or in our case, we couldn't have that volume while we recorded. So we went directly into the DAW.
Wow.
And then you can...
Has that got 1/4-inch outs for audio out to the board or XLR outs?
Yeah. Both, I think.
Okay. Wow. I'm looking that up.
I think it's both. It's great. They have it in, this one is pretty old version, but I think they have newer versions. They have pedal boards. They have 1 rack sizes, stomp boxes. Today, I think they have even. But the thing with this one is that it has it's stereo, so you can blend 2 cabinet mic up sessions into one, or
Right. So can you upload into it like a Friedman 412 IR and a So whatever impulse response that you have that you like, you can throw that in there and wow. And would you use that live so that you can give a direct out to the front of house?
No, it's too big and it's too.
Oh, okay. It's big.
It's pretty old, so it's like 2 or 3 units high.
Right.
So it's pretty old as well. So it's not that easy manageable,
Right. Yeah. I mean, these days, like I said, I've been using a Kemper now for about 7 years, maybe 8.
Yeah.
And it's every time I go to a venue, they're like, "Thank God, just." XLR. I send them stereo to the front of house, and I literally don't even use my volume of my 412, although it's there, because I've got in-ears, and that mix is already done. So I run my 412s with a small little pedal that's about this big. That's 45 watts per side, and I can just kind of dial in a little bit of stage volume, just a little bit,
Yeah.
And it makes it very controllable for everybody involved, Now, if we could just do something with cymbals so that I don't have to lose my hearing every time.
Yeah, one of those assholes destroyed my one ear many years ago.
Yeah. Was it your right ear or left?
My right, I think, because it's my right, because I was standing with this and I have problems with this ear, so
yeah. Yeah, I've got to
definitely that one.
I hear hissing and ringing 24/7 now. That's the unfortunate part of us growing up in the 90s with loud ass 100-watt amps and very small rooms, wide open, just killing each other. But it's pretty crazy how the technology. When you guys play live. Are you using in-ears or any of that kind of stuff, or are you still using monitors? No, still monitors. We've been talking about in-ears, but we haven't come there yet. But if we're gonna do a lot more shows, I think we will get there.
At this point, we do shows when we feel like when there's a good show or a good opportunity. We don't go on tours doing crappy Monday, Tuesday shows anymore.
So it's I would think you specifically would really, being the lead singer, would really enjoy the in-ears, because you're not fighting with I need more in the monitor until it starts feeding back. That's eliminated. That's eliminated altogether. But I think down the road you would really like it.
Do you have a complete setup that you have your own mixer, every one of your?
In fact, if you can see this rack right here. That's a X32 Behringer mixer. With I
know that one.
Yeah, with a 16 channel through snake. So whatever goes into the front goes into my mixer, but it also goes out to the house. So we run everything in a live situation. We run everything into the front of that. We pull off what we want for our mixes. I've got four individual stereo mixes. So I mean, you're hearing it in the stereo and crystal clear. And then we send that to the rest of the front of the house. The only thing that's a little bit awkward is, like, in here we use the electronic drums stereo right and left into channel 1 and 2, and it's like, wow, it's just polished drums. It sounds great. But when we play live, we have an acoustic kit, so that has to get mic'd up, go to the front of house, and then be sent back to us so that we can pull off, so we can hear the drums. So that's
in stereo.
In stereo, yeah. Everything's in stereo. Man, I'm too old to not have awesome sound. You know what I mean? I want to.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
No, we'll probably go there as well. We'll talk about it a lot, but if we go and do a lot more shows, we will have to.
Well, if you, I can't believe how many people in town have seen my rig, and then start asking me all these questions. And hey, how do you do this and how do you do that? And we're like, if you go to YouTube and go to the Giza is Gone channel, you'll see my COVID project that I put together, and with all this animated video and everything's all synced up and through this. And so now everybody wants my design. These TVs, I take five monitors on stage. And
cool.
At first I was telling everybody pretty much how to do it. And then I asked one band in particular, hey, I'll help you. I'll 100% help you. They were the local Pink Floyd tribute bands, which we'll talk about tribute bands here in a second. And I was like, man, that would be a perfect band for my trippy cosmic band to open for. And I said, hey, I'd love to open for you guys, and I'll consult and help you get to the finish line, what you're trying to do with getting your in-ear rig and whatever. And they're like, no, we don't need anybody to open for us because we have enough material. I was like, you have enough of somebody else's material. What are you talking about? Give a brother.
Oh my God.
So
of course.
Yeah. So tribute bands. Let's talk about the here in the States as an original artist. It's hard to get a proper stage, and when I say proper stage, I'm talking about great lights, great sound, dressing room, not a nice venue. Elevated stage is important, if you're doing a show. But you can't get on those stages because, Tom Petty tribute band or the Bon Jovi or Aerosmith or Pink Floyd or Stevie Nicks or, name an artist. Are you guys finding that to be the case in Europe?
Yeah, we are. We have mainly maybe in like Stockholm, our biggest city. We have some good venues, and that they are like in the weekends, Friday, Saturday, it's tribute bands. Original bands, it's like Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I don't know.
Right.
In some occasions, there may be exceptions, but mainly it's for the tribute bands.
Yeah,
and it's this. I often see the same bands going around. It's like, why don't people get tired of that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
No.
Yeah, and they're good bands, and they're good guys.
Yeah.
They're good guys that are playing in them, and I know a lot of them. But I guess if you're doing it to make to try to make money, which I gave up on that a long time ago. This is a hobby that you spend money and you just enjoy yourself and have fun, and that's what. But if you're doing it because you need to put, food on the table and keep the lights on, I get it. Okay, I guess I'm gonna go, be in one of those bands. But artistically, it would kill my soul to not be able to perform what I created. It's like, man.
Yeah. I was in not a tribute band but cover band before. Just mainly, first of all, we started because we got the suggestion from someone to play at a party, and we're like, oh yeah, well, we get a couple of 1,000 kroners, and we did it, and we got drunk and we had fun, and people started asking more about it. So we went on, and we got in our hometown and around here, we got pretty much pretty many shows, and we started out with like a house band in some places, and but our thing was that we were a party band, acoustic, and we get drunk every time we get the money. Yeah, but it was kind of killing my my songwriting. So creativity. I can't do this anymore. It takes too much time. I don't enjoy playing the songs. It's so I just left them. We got offered a lot of money to do some kind of October fest or whatever many years ago, but I turned it down because I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. It's, I think as obviously,
but as you said, I respect those who do. Yeah,
that do it.
They need to put money on the table. It's a good living for them, but and it's just a situation when original bands come second or third. Or
never,
or never.
Well, let's take a listen to Dying Heroes. What can you tell us about this before we fire it off?
It's about you can't save all the heroes. There's a lot of heroes in the world, but some of them are lost. I don't know how to explain that. People are heroes, but they don't accept their hero role or whatever. So they just go on their own path, and people try to. You can't save them. Some people just have their own agenda, even how good they are or whatever. And
well, let's
unsavable.
Let's take a listen. Dying Heroes from Mother Misery.
I'm getting tired of the hero you got made for me, and my ambition is at zero. We're dying breed. Yeah, I was on top of the world. You took a chance on me, and no matter what you heard, you gotta trust in what you've seen. You gotta trust in what you've seen. You can't save all the dying heroes. They got their places to go. You can't save all the dying heroes. They need to live by the code. You wanna listen to my needs before I break apart, and you can have me on my knees, and I can tell it from
I heard a piano at the very end of that.
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah, sure.
Is it just a one note, or is it going on in the background?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. So
it's in the complete ending. You can almost not hear it, but it's there underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's
one note.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So who did you say mixed this?
This album was mixed and recorded by Pelle Säter. He's the singer of a Swedish band called Grand Design.
Okay.
They sound very much like Def Leppard.
Oh yeah, very polished, right?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How he got your lead vocal to pop and stand out in front of that wall of chaos guitars, man. Those guitars sound so big, but your voice is still boom right out there in the front. You know.
Yeah. He did some tricks with his finger. I don't know what he did.
Yeah, he did. Well, you did some tricks with your voice because you're killing it there. And then the other thing I noticed on that one was the snare sound is awesome. It's warm. It's not bright and crispy in your ears. Like God, yeah. And they did a lot of double time on it, so you really got to hear it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
That's also another thing. We came in with our drum set, and he had his drum set there, which he knew how it sounded, where to stand. So I think we used a lot of his drums, actually.
Sure.
The studio's drums, maybe some of Jimmy's drums as well, mixed together. And this album we recorded in 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
Every day we were there for 2 weeks. We were there ourselves in the nights when he went home and recorded. So it was a fun time, but I was a bit sick when I did the vocals. I was a bit cold.
Right.
And I can hear it when I listen to myself, and maybe that's what's make the sound pop out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. That's all. Okay, so a couple things pulling from that you just said. All right, so it's the second time that you've mentioned when you go into a studio or working with a producer, and they've got the 5150 amps. You normally use this, but the willingness to I wouldn't say submit or bow down to your producer, but to work with them and go, hey. If the producer says, I really think that amp would be the sound that I think would be really good, the willingness to try it and not be hard-headed and say, no, I got to use my old Marshall that's hissing and needs a tube replacement and it's out of bias. And to dropping the ego from the drummer and saying, okay, it's not my drum kit, but he knows the kit. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to drop the ego and try things,
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely, because it's all about the end result. And if they know the studio, they know the sound, they know what's going to do to the sound. So you got to trust them often if they are serious.
Right.
You can trust them and
to
go. And the same with when we went to Johan in Gothenburg, who did the recorded drums for Megalodon. We tried, I don't know how many snares we tried to get the right one, and we took his the same thing there. His half of the drum set was his drums.
Right. And that's the key is they know how to mic it, they know they know where to put it in the room. With an acoustic set of drums. I was just reading an article about Alex Van Halen working on the For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge album. He went in 2 weeks early to the studio to try to get the Bonham sound. Everybody's been trying to get that sound since they pulled it off in Zeppelin. But they said he had a truckload of snares and kick drums. Yeah. And he would set these things up, move the drum set in different areas of the studio. And the article was basically saying he was driving everybody insane because he was just looking for that one sound,
I know, because I sang in a band from Gothenburg called The Awesome Machine. It's a stoner desert rock band.
Yeah.
Pretty known at the time, and they're actually we are releasing. I say they and we.
Yeah.
Still we, but releasing vinyls on Ripple Music in US now. With their one of the first and greatest albums. And we went to the studio when I was in the band. It's a Bohus sound studio. It's a very big studio.
Right.
Status Quo were there at the in the 70s, I think, or something, recorded. I think ABBA was there.
Oh, wow.
Or bigger bands. And
Sure.
we went there with Roberto Laghi, if you know. He's a great metal producer, doing very big in Flames and stuff like that.
Sure.
And they also had one spot in this very big studio. The studio is bigger than my house. And at that spot there, I worked out the drums must be here.
Wow.
And it was not in the middle. It was not in the back. It was in a strange corner somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
So they started to build, and we tried for one whole day. I think they tried different bass drums, everything. So in the end, it was like a mashup. But the sound that came out from those drums were fantastic.
Yeah. Now, did they have a marking on the floor, like kick drum here? Yeah, some kind of marking tapes. Yeah. I think it was. Wow, that's awesome.
So, yeah.
Yeah, every room, sounds different. And if you're trying to, I mean, just think about like, the Beatles recording at Abbey Road. I don't know if you saw that documentary that came out not too long ago, the docuseries or whatever. What, those guys, George Martin in particular, they had reverb plates and stuff. They didn't have technology like what we have now.
No.
They had to kind of, put things in certain rooms in order to make it sound a certain way. And the amount of time that it must have taken. That would kill my workflow. When I'm in writing mode, I'm putting ideas down, editing them next. Boom. All right, Hammond. Put some Hammond down. Next. Boom. Like my workflow is as manic as my brain works, But doing it that old school way would be like I'd just be pulling my hair out, and even like doing a punch or back then having to cut tape.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my God.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do it.
That's incredible. No.
But so what do you and the guys do outside of music? You said you guys all have normal jobs. You have like Cardang.
Yeah.
Cardang, those guys work on oil rigs. And I'm like,
I can imagine.
I'm like, well, okay, that's different, I was like, are you guys still killing whales for oil? And we're not whaling, but
no.
So what do you guys do outside of music?
Just normal works, jobs. Me and Stefan, Stiff, as his artist name is.
Oh, I like it.
We live here. We live here in Enköping, and Thomas as well, the former guitar player. But me and Stefan live here, and Jimmy lives in Stockholm.
Okay.
Which is like I said, 45 minutes from here, or 1 hour. And Emil, the new guitar player, he's from a place called Kopparberg, and it's 2 hours for him to get here to rehearsals.
Oh wow, that's a little
by car. And
yeah, that's good.
He has kids. He has a job. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
as do we.
Yeah, but nobody's like a brain surgeon or neurological.
No, nothing. We're just like the bottom shelf of people, No.
Yeah. I teach ice skating and ice hockey, power skating stuff here in Atlanta. And
really?
Yeah, people hear that and they're like, well, that's a weird job. Yeah, it is.
Cool.
Is hockey's big in Sweden though, right?
Yeah, it is.
And
it's really big. And
we're in winter time there, right?
Yeah.
So how much snow is on the ground?
Actually, now it's for a few days it's been raining, but we've had like 20 centimeters, 30 centimeters of snow for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's nothing for you guys. They know how to clear the roads and everything. Life just goes on, right?
Yeah. Most of the time, yeah. But the funny thing is that people, mainly in Stockholm or bigger cities, they just don't. They forget how you drive when there comes snow.
Same here.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens here when it rains. If it's raining,
yeah.
you always have some idiot. Here in Atlanta, in the Atlanta area, I will say one of the things when I first moved here, I was like, holy cow. I mean, the speed limit's 55, doesn't matter. They're doing 75. They're doing 85. Yeah. We're talking miles an hour, you know. I mean, people really drive fast here. But they keep up that trend even when it's raining, and it's, you know, pretty stupid.
Bad combination.
Yeah, it's a bad combination. Let's check out the ballad State of Grace. What album is that on?
That is from Standing Alone.
Okay. And what can you tell us about this before we fire it off, or do you just want to play it and then talk about it?
Yeah, well, State of Grace is about what I had in mind when I was I often get my ideas from watching TV or news or stuff I hear about in real life or myself or stuff that happens to me or my close family. This is mainly about a kid who doesn't feel like he or she has the right way in life stacked out, you know.
Yeah.
He or she the kid doesn't feel like it belongs anywhere and don't know how to proceed in life.
Yeah, boy, seems like we got a lot of that.
Hard decisions.
Yeah. Seems like we have a lot of that these days. You know, I was complaining a little while ago that I had to hit play and stop and rewind on the cassette player to learn a part. But to think about what these young people are dealing with, you know, with the social media stuff, and you have to look like this, and if you don't have this many people following you, you're not worthy. Those types of things, it'd be a tough time, you know, to deal with.
Yeah, you just have to watch out. You have to watch your kids and see how they're really doing, and try to have a good communication. I think it's important.
Yeah. Do you have kids?
Yeah, 2. One girl.
How old?
And Molly is 10 years old, and Neo is 12 years old.
Okay, so they're still young enough to still be kids, and I'm sure they're starting to get into the age where they know everything.
Of course.
And guess what? We were there too. We knew everything.
I know. I used to think like that as well.
Yeah,
I was the same way. But it's cool.
I think that's part of growing up for sure. All right.
Yeah.
So State of Grace from Mother Misery.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never seen the world as you wanted it for me. I've never even heard of someone asking what I need. You lay it in my hands and then you cut him off again. I turn the other cheek and then I'm back into the sand. I'm standing on the edge now, I just need a little time. I'm digging in the hole you gave me as I kissed your crown. The home I need to find is in another kind of place. I'm hoping for the sun to set into a state of grace. I never believed this world had signs set for me. Now I can move into the next one and set myself free. The faces I've seen, they are embedded in my head. melody. When I feel like dying, then they make me wanna stay. I'm standing on the edge now, please just give me some more time. I'm down into that hole you gave me as I kissed your crown. The home I couldn't find is in another kind of place. I'm dying for the sun to set into a slit of grace. I never believed this world had signs set for me. Now I can move into the next one and set myself free. I never believed this world had signs set for me. Now I can move into the next one and set myself free. I never believed this world had signs set for me. Now I can move into the next one and set myself free.
Man, that was
Thanks.
so good, dude.
Thanks.
Really,
Cool.
really, this is really nice because I never get to kind of really talk about acoustic guitar and then the string section came in, strings and maybe cello going on in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then your voice is on that. Let's talk about your voice real quick first.
Cool.
Who is your influence? I hear a couple of people. I hear Chris Cornell in there. I hear Dickinson in there. I hear
Cool.
a couple of different things going on. Who was it that was like, oh, I want to sound like that guy?
You named Chris Cornell, and he's one of my biggest heroes.
Yeah.
But he wasn't there from the start. From the start, it was like Dickinson, Iron Maiden, Kiss was my. I started with Kiss, of course, but Maiden, Judas Priest, Accept, all those kind of bands.
Yeah.
And then it grew on to Monster Magnet. Soundgarden came along, and he blew my mind when I heard him. So I
think he had the greatest voice in rock and roll.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah.
Just perfect. So yeah, mainly those.
Yeah. And I think it was with Dickinson and and you mentioned Kiss. Almost everybody that happens to be anywhere near our age group, like, the reason we're doing this is because I want to rock and roll all night, or in my case, you know, Black Diamond for me off the Kiss Alive. I think the Kiss Alive 1 record, Black Diamond, just like it was done after I heard that. But so the orchestration of the acoustic guitar, it sounded like there were two of them, because this one I could hear arpeggiating the chord, and then on the turnaround with the high notes would be in this ear. So were there two acoustic guitars going on there?
Yeah, and actually this is kind of funny because I wrote the chords on this one, but I don't play the guitar here, and neither does Thomas. It's the bass player, Stefan.
Oh, wow.
Because he is a guitar player from the beginning.
Right.
And he has a great sense of melodies and stuff. So he had an idea on how to play this song.
Right.
Very, very, very scaled down like this.
Right.
Because we from the beginning, it was more like strumming,
right,
a bit strumming and stuff like that. But we took his idea and we thought it was great. So we said, then you have to play it. So he played it, and like you hear it, and he dubbed the guitar. And I think if you hear different notes, that was maybe not the intention from the beginning. It just happened.
Right. Sure. It sounded like,
and
it sounded like, he was arpeggiating with a pick, and like, there was a pattern going on in one, but like upstrokes from the high strings to the low strings was in the, it was over there. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm set.
Yeah.
I hear two separate parts. It's hard. I'm a, put the shoulder into it kind of rock and roll kind of player. Yeah. It's hard to play acoustic guitar, cleanly, playing it, if, finger style is a little bit easier to kind of get that clean rhythm going down, but he does a very good job at it came out sounding really good. And then the strings came in. Are to me they sound like a plugin that I have, Native Instruments session strings or something like that. Were they a virtual instrument? No,
they're alive.
Wow.
Yeah, a girl called Malin Myhr. She plays with some famous pop acts here in Sweden.
Wow.
And her husband as well, but he's a saxophone player. But that's also Stefan, who plays the bass player. He is friends with them, so he went there with the song to Stockholm, and in their studio, and recorded the strings, and she played, I think, cello and some violin.
That's what it sounded like.
Stuff like that, and came back with this result as well. And
were you guys just jaws on the floor when you heard that?
Yeah. It was nice.
Yeah, it's almost like Christmas time. Especially when you were a kid, but even now, like when you get something that you weren't expecting, and you're like, oh my, when it happens to me with Hope's Anchor Band, like, the drums go down, there's a scratch bass track, and I put my guitars down, it's starting to sound like something, boom, then the polished bass track goes down, and then it goes into vocals, and I don't hear from anybody for a week, and I'm like, guys, hey, can I hear something? I want to hear something. And they'll send something over, and I'm like, wow, Christmas time.
It's a great feeling.
Yeah, it's really
great feeling.
It's also very nice to hear you guys go kind of artistic, not to say that the rock and heavy stuff isn't artistic, but it's a big, powerful wall. I kept waiting for that big power wall to But you stayed the course with that, and just kept it on that artistic. Do you write many ballads like this, or was this kind of
No, I think this is the only one that goes this type of clean, scale down. We have ballads on the other records as well, but they're more like towards the power ballad stuff, like that. But this one is nice. We have only done it live once.
Oh, really?
In our hometown, at a festival here in our hometown, and it went well. It was really great.
Yeah. Did you just do it with acoustic guitar, or did you have the strings come with you?
No, in ear for the guitar player, Stefan, bass guitar player.
Yeah.
And so we had the strings on click track.
Oh, okay, good. All right. Well, that goes down a road of another. We've already talked about when you guys play live. You're not using ears yet, but the drummer would have a click track and fire it.
The drummer has in-ears on some songs.
Not everything, though.
No.
Okay.
Because only on the ones that we have a few songs that he needs to have a click track the whole song, because we have on the new album, the last song has a lot of strings in the end.
Right.
And we need that. He needs to have a click track for that to sink in at the end.
Sure. Yeah. And you're not going to get any hate here from this guy about having support tracks playing live, because the whole Giza thing, not only is it they've got support tracks, but it's all synced with video, so everything has to be. It's a Rolex watch, man. I mean. You have to have that going on. But the intent of that is anything that is being played as a support track. I wrote it and recorded it and performed it right over there. So why can't I just play with myself again? Remember when I sound good when I play with myself?
Yeah. Of course.
But man,
I agree.
You get a lot of hate. The haters on backing tracks live. Kind of, I get it in some cases. Like if you're using it, because if you're using it like with lead vocals on it, because your vocalist is 75 years old and can't sing "I Want to Rock and Roll All Night" anymore, then okay, you might be karaoke at that point a little bit, but if you're an original artist and you have some parts that you need to be going on for your interpretation of what you recorded to be presented to an audience properly, man, do it without hesitation. Do it.
Yeah, of course, I agree. I agree.
It's just art anyway. I mean, present the art. What if you told Picasso you can't use any hue of blue?
No.
It's ridiculous,
Yeah, I agree.
Thoughts on AI in writing and recording music? You could go into Chat GPT and go, okay, give me some lyrics about a child growing up fatherless, and then
maybe I'm a bit at this point I'm a bit against it.
Yeah.
Since I know the struggle in doing a great lyric or a great tune or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's okay if you do it for fun, I think. But if people start like releasing albums, top artists, and they all only used AI, I don't know. I for me personally, I think it's cheating.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely using technology. Current technology to your advantage.
It is. Maybe I'm old-fashioned or stubborn or something. I'm narrow-minded. I don't know, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's a
because I work hard.
Yeah,
I work hard on writing the song. So if someone comes by and get million views or sells a million albums with an AI written song, it would be well, I don't know.
Well, think of it this way: the guy that had a horse and a wagon, right? A horse and a wagon that would have these giant ice blocks that he would take into a town to the ice house, and they would chip that down, and they would have ice. Probably felt the same way when he saw, a gasoline powered truck come along doing the same thing. It's like, man, that's cheating. You can't.
Yeah, I know. And that's what I think about as well. But at this moment, I feel like fuck that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I think it's inevitable. In fact, it's already happening. I have an artist that I'm actually talking about doing a podcast with, and I know the guy, and I'm like, dude, you can't sing. That's not you. And somehow he's able to either sing onto a track and then assign it a voice and an AI voice. And he's got these singers on his songs that don't exist.
My God.
And I want to talk to him on the podcast about it because, you know, it's like cryptocurrency. I don't get it, but I want to learn about it. You know, you know, explain it.
Okay. Yeah, it's coming. I understand it, and I'm a bit what do you say in English?
Hypocritical.
Hypocritical, because we actually used AI for some bits of the cover on the album. So
well, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, you know,
it's the same thing. Yeah, we should have paid an artist to paint it.
Yeah. At the same time, it's almost unavoidable. You know, like. I was just talking to our producer, Corey Lowry, who's in Seether. He's a guitar player for Seether, and I was just talking to him about the same thing, but in the realm of mixing and mastering and that type of thing. And he was telling me about plugins that literally you could put a plugin on your voice that would go in and AI analyze it and pull out any of the bad frequencies that vocal tracks shouldn't have, you know, and it would automatically perfectly mix your voice with the touch of a button. You know, those types of plugins are out there now that, you know, you don't have to know where bad frequencies are on the kick drum are. You're just going to run your kick drum track through this plugin, have it analyze it, and boom, it's going to take out all the frequencies you don't need for a great kick drum sound. Is that cheating, or is that using the
yeah, I know.
It's an interesting dichotomy. I don't want to use big words I don't know the meanings to, but it's an interesting
I certainly don't know the meaning of that one.
Which is another thing I did want to mention about how well that you speak English but sing in English. English wasn't your first language, right?
No, it's Swedish, for Norwegian and Swedish, but mainly Swedish.
Can you say you are listening to the Original Music Podcast in Swedish?
Du lyssnar nu på The Original Music Podcast med Ray och John.
Very good. That's interesting. What age did you start working on English, and do you sing in Swedish?
I don't sing in Swedish. I did do a couple of like pop songs 25 years ago or so, just for the fun of it, to try and sing in Swedish. It felt wrong. It felt out of place. And I hated it, so I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I did sing some songs in Swedish when we were a cover band, but that's okay because I didn't write those songs. But personally, I haven't succeeded yet, but I haven't tried so hard either. So but I started. I think English started with me because I've always were interested in music. Like I started listening to Elvis and stuff like that when I was young. My dad listened to Elvis Presley, and then Kiss later on. So music has always been there, and movies. For me, a big inspiration for me is movies, and I get a lot of ideas for songs in movies, like lyrics from a text or something from a movie or whatever.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it. I always wondered, because the cadence of different languages don't match the cadence of English, and I often wondered how, if a song was, especially a cover, it's already well known. if you sing it in another language, in order to get the words to mean the right thing, they may not line up on the beat.
No.
Yeah, I don't understand how that would even work.
No. I've heard some attempts or some done it, but they have to change quite a lot in the words to get it to fit.
Right. Oh, okay. So they're actually changing.
They can't sing it as the original way right off, because it will not work, like you said, on the beat, or it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're singing in English, because I can understand you. And it's Mother Misery.
But there's a lot of.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of, in Sweden at least. There's a lot of lately these years. There's a lot of Swedish bands coming through, getting a name here in Sweden, and they are rock bands or metal bands or hardcore bands singing in Swedish, actually.
Oh, wow.
I'm so grown in on English, so I'm still there, but some are cool. Yeah. Very cool.
Now, do you ever go out and get out and I'm guilty, so my answer is not as much as I should, but do you ever go out and see some of the younger bands coming out that are hitting the scene like we used to when we were 25 years old? Do you ever get out and see some new artists?
Not too much, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
All my spare time is in the studio to the music or whatever.
Yeah, or with family at this point, right?
Yeah. But sometimes I go to shows. I take time to go and see some bands or whatever, and but I can't come to mind that I saw some new band lately. But yeah, it's too seldom.
Yeah, I like. One of my favorite things is, because I don't go out and see some of the younger bands and stuff, if I do a show with any of my bands and and other bands are on the bill, that don't know us, we don't know them, and you're loading in, they're young, we're old, and you're like, man, look at these old guys. What are they gonna do? And then you just go out and just kick all kinds of ass and leave them going, what the hell just happened?
What the fuck?
Yeah. That's called 35 years of experience, kid.
Yeah, that's awesome. But that's the same thing for us. We never know.
Right.
You never know who you're gonna meet up with, and I've met. We did a show with Queensryche a few years ago.
Yep.
In Holland, and they are one of my biggest, bands from when I was younger. And I get to stand in the elevator with Eddie Jackson, the bass player.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say something, but I couldn't get a word out of my mouth.
Yeah.
He was standing there like he didn't look too happy. He was like tired or something.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at it, and I was like, I want to say something, but I just kept my mouth shut. But then I got to talk to the drummer, Rock and Field, and the new singer. He's really awesome. Yeah. He's a great guy. He came in to talk to us, and he was relaxed. So, but some don't even want to talk to you. And like we played with this is I don't know if you see the T-shirt. Corroded. It's a Swedish band. A big Swedish band, and we played with them in December now. Yeah. And we met up, and we didn't know who they were, but they were really the nicest guys ever, and really cool and down to earth and welcoming us, and talking like normal people.
Yeah. It's important to, no matter how big you think you are. Hey, bands. There might be a band opening for you that is going to kick your ass. Like, I don't know, Van Halen did to, I think they opened for Kiss or somebody, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They did.
And like, man, if you saw Van Halen open for Kiss and then Kiss comes on, Kiss had all the smoke and mirrors, like almost literally, but you just saw Eddie Van Halen and you had your head spun around, because at that era, I was like, what is that?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, so no matter how big you think you are, you know, just, you know, at anything, at a minimum, go and talk to some of the younger bands as a mentor. You're like, hey guys, you know, heard your sound check. You guys sound great. You know, keep it up. Keep it going. You know, that kind of thing. I think it's important to be extremely humble. With otherwise, you just come off as an asshole. You know.
Yeah. There's no point in that.
No, there really isn't.
Better to make friends.
Yeah, way better to make friends. All right, the last track we'll listen to is "What Can I Say," and this is this. Oh, this is from Shadow to Ghost album.
Yeah, the new album.
Okay,
new
good.
album.
Mother Misery. First off, and I apologize, everybody. Where did the name come from, and what does it mean? This question should have been asked about an hour ago.
Well, like I said, an hour ago, maybe.
Yeah.
We were first called.
Nosedive.
The first name was Nosedive.
Yeah.
And then Thomas and me sat down before we made the first album. We released it. Was like, we have to change the band name. So we sat down to have a thinking moment.
Yeah.
With a lot of books, a lot of material to find words.
Yeah.
But it ended up, I think it was me who cracked. We had a demo song called Mother. And we had the first song on the album was called My Misery. And I said, why, if we took Mother and Misery put together, it looks good, it sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we renamed the song to My Enemy instead, and we took Mother Misery. Okay. So it's just composition of those two words, and instead of Mother Nature, it's Mother Misery.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. I've got a buddy of mine that right now going through what should I name the new band? That whole thing. And
oh my God,
it naming a band is tough because
it is.
It's got to mean something. It's got to be cool, but it also has to be available as a .com, as a Facebook, Instagram, as a TikTok, as a as all those things. It has to be available, tough. And it's hard because everything is taken. It seems like.
Also, if you have a name and someone Googles your name, they should find that one first, not 100 things before that who doesn't relate to the band. I don't know. It's very hard.
Yeah, and that's probably the most important part. Having a .com and all that kind of stuff is, that comes afterwards. How does it look on a T-shirt? That's last. How does it fall in the in the Google search engine ranking? And I guess there's ways that you can pay for having it boosted up to the top of that. But if your band name is John Smith, they're never gonna be tough. They're never going to find you.
No.
All right. What can I say? What can I say about this song? I've got to listen to all these songs. I want to hear No Halo. Yeah. I want to hear The Phoenix. I bet The Phoenix kicks ass.
The Phoenix. Let me drop a line on that one.
Yeah,
because that's a really cool song because it has a lot of elements that we never done before, including a blast beats. Oh. So you have to check that one out. It's a cool song.
Hey, we're on the podcast. We can do whatever we want. Let's do it now. Let's go. Let's go with The Phoenix from Mother Misery.
All the roaches go.
Okay, so the blast beat was cool, but I would say the bridge section that kind of breaks down to a riff thing, and then there's the keyboard melody, the single note keyboard melody is powerful. Is using instrumentation like that, you can really elevate the sound of what's going on from, hey, here's two guys locked in on a riff, the band's jamming and tight. That counter melody that when it came in was like, oh wow, okay, that those are the type of things that I hope that you're firing those things off live underneath what you guys are doing.
Yeah, we do, because those things we always do things that we can do live.
Yeah.
If we can't do it live, we don't do the song live. So
yeah,
but we try to keep it in check, so that we don't do too much stuff that it's not possible for us to do. Even if it's on backing track, it will be with us live, because we have also, like you said, we have recorded all this and made this music. So it's
right. And
it's us who have done it.
Yeah, and you should have. That's the other kind of advantage of. That's the other advantage of once you're done with the song and you have to stem it out, like we talked about earlier. Now I have the stem of just that keyboard part.
Yeah.
Boom. Here's the click track. Here's the stem. When you guys are doing that, there's there's a multiple ways to skin that cat, which is a terrible analogy, but the old school way was that you would have a stereo track and you would have the click on the left side and you would have whatever you wanted played through the PA on the right side. The new way, the way I do it is, I've got my click track that doesn't even go to front of house, doesn't go anywhere other than my ears. But then I've got a stereo track that will go to front of house, and they can sum that into the mix of the band.
Yeah.
How are you guys approaching that?
Same way. We have Jimmy, the drummer, is handling that. He has a SPD1,
Roland,
I think it's called. Yeah. He had before he had the one with, I think, 6 pads on it.
Yeah.
Now he has the smaller one with only 1 pad, and he's handling it's like a knob with the samples.
Wow.
You just turn to the next song or the next sample between them.
And I think you can probably load waves into that, or yeah. That's my drummer.
Think so.
My drummer in Hope Sanker did that for years, and thinking that it was a more fail-proof system than using a computer. And it did until it failed. He had one. He had one die. And luckily not at a show, but at a rehearsal.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, dude. So I use a computer. And I use Ableton Live. And so that gives me the ability to have, the click going. And like I said, the sending tracks stereo in front of house. If something's too loud, I can go in there and adjust it very easily.
Yeah.
But, it's another piece of gear to bring to the show. Yeah. So there's that to be accounted with. But
of course,
I guess, I'm all about bringing what you need to do the production that you want to present, and if you have to bring a laptop, guess what? Bring a laptop, get a stand for it. It'll be fine. But of
course.
Well, John, man, I really appreciate you coming on. What time of day in Sweden is it? It's 4:25 in the afternoon for me.
Yeah, it's It's like 10:30 in the
evening
towards the night.
Oh, okay.
Evening. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's I've got a couple of international artists that I'm talking to, and I'm like scratching my head. Okay, what's the time difference between here? I got a guy coming on from Australia. Hopefully, I don't want to say the name because he said yes, but we're working on getting it scheduled. I have to film him I have to film him at noon.
Yeah.
I have to film him at 8:00 at night here in order to be noon for him the next day. 16-hour difference.
My God.
And so, yeah, we're trying to figure out how to get that one scheduled. But that guy is he's a one of a kind player. I wish I could say who it is, but until he confirms. But anyway,
I'll
go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll keep track on your show and see when names pops up.
Yeah, this guy. I guess I could say he's the best Hammond keyboard player in the world right now, in my opinion. And he may play an instrument called a whammy clav. There's 2 hints. So
okay, I have to look that up.
Yeah. Do you know what a clav is? Like a keyboard?
Yeah.
Intro to Superstition from Stevie Wonder, best example.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got one with a whammy bar on it, dude. It's like,
ooh, wow.
Yeah, but I'm excited.
Is that your main instrument?
No.
Keyboards or
no? My main instrument is guitar. I've been playing
guitar.
Guitar since 1985. But I have a Hammond organ because my dad was a Hammond player, and
cool.
he died when I was like 7.
Okay.
And it's been in my family. It's been here all these years. So I can play it. Like I can get around and play some chord changes and stuff like that. But this guy I'm talking about can play it, so yeah, anyway, like those keyboard parts that, like, I always add keyboard. If I'm doing an idea, if it's a heavy riff guitar, at some point in a breakdown or bridge or transition or I'm going to put something else down because that's the beauty of having Logic or whatever. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, because I do the MIDI programming and then
I
make
love
it happen. Yeah, because I can't play anything like this.
Yeah,
I can do like this,
right?
But I want to sit and listen, and I move some notes, change the sound, and in the end, after the show, you have to listen to Into the Unknown.
Okay.
From the new album. I think you like the parts in the end there. It's building up quite nice there. It's a long song. It's almost 7 minutes long, but
perfect.
The end is quite great.
All right, I love it. Well, tell everybody where they can find anything Mother Misery and your social.
Yeah, we're on Spotify, of course. We're on YouTube. We are mainly on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
And what we are doing at this moment is like we just released the album on vinyl.
Oh, nice.
So we are promoting that, and I have actually here. I thought I was going to show you. It's
that's
and
killer.
it comes in 4 different colors with inlays and stuff.
Yeah.
And this is AI made.
Nice. Hey. Guess what? It looks pro. Is that clear?
Yeah.
That is cool.
It's clear.
Yeah.
So this comes in clear. It comes in black. It comes in see-through yellow marbled and blue marbled vinyl. So it looks fantastic. Sounds fantastic as well.
Yeah.
So we are very happy, and we just signed up with Doc Gator Records from Austria.
Uh-huh.
They love the album and they wanted to release it on vinyl. So that's how this happened, and we are very happy with them.
Awesome. Yeah, because we've had the conversation a couple of times on the podcast about merch. And I consider physical albums, physical CDs, all those types of things, merch, right?
Yeah.
And the topic of LPs have come up, and they're just expensive. you get what you can buy if you use Disc Makers, which is a company here in the States that I use for our releases. It's $1,000 for 100 records. So you're looking at $10 a piece. You have to sell it at $20-$25, to reinvest that into getting more and stuff. But as far as merch goes, do you guys carry a lot of merch? Shirts, hats?
Not, I wouldn't say a lot, but we have maybe at this point, we have maybe like 4 or 5 different shirts.
Yeah.
Long sleeve, short sleeve, hoodie. Yeah. And we have hats like this and and also CDs and vinyls. Yeah. That's what we bring today. It varies. If we have a lot of more shirts at our, web store.
Oh, okay.
Rocknet, it's called. It's a Swedish site. So on Rocknet, you can find a lot of more merch. We had like baby, the baby suits, stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
That is cool. That's really cool. It's interesting that we go from writing a song to we got to think about what can we sell with our name on it. Yeah. And I fault Gene Simmons for all of that.
Yeah.
All the lunchboxes.
Fucker.
Again, I appreciate you coming on. The final closing question I have for you, and I like to ask
this.
This will be the second time I've ever asked this question. Do you have any idea how many tattoos you have? Let me see that sleeve. Let me see that arm. Yeah.
These are actually. I have some here as well on the legs, but not too much. But these are actually individual tattoos that I just got built together with the shades and stuff.
Yeah. How many sittings?
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like 30 maybe.
Oh, wow.
30 sittings.
Wow.
But it's my brother, I have 3 younger brothers, and the youngest one was actually a hobby tattooist for a while.
Oh, nice.
So he got to practice some on me. It was free. Yeah.
I've made it through 35 years of rock and roll without one tattoo, and I don't know how.
It's gonna make you unique someday. It's gonna what?
Yeah, I know, right?
It's gonna yeah. That's cool.
I had a terrible motorcycle accident when I was young. And when I was in the hospital, they stuck every needle they could find in me, it seemed like.
Shit.
And so it kind of was one of those, like, never again will I be stuck by a needle, especially one with ink in it.
Yeah, and I can tell you, every time I sit down, it takes, when they start, it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Now I remember why I didn't do this for 2 years.
Right. Yeah. Awesome, John. Love the band, love the sound. You guys are
Thank
awesome.
you.
If I ever come to
you too.
If I ever come to Sweden, I want to hook up with you guys.
Yeah. Let me know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Tell Jimmy and all the guys in the band. Again, on the last track, the Phoenix that we listened to, drums are absolutely kicking ass. I mean, you got some great players in your band, and it's great that you guys have been brothers for so long.
Yeah.
So
we are closest friends, and we are in the band, so it's perfect. Yeah. And now with the new guy Emil, he fits right in there, because that is for me one of the hardest things, to look for a new member. You have to first of all, he has to fit like a bro, like a friend, like at the same level. Otherwise it doesn't work for me.
It doesn't work for anybody. I've said this.
No.
I've said this now probably too many times on the podcast about band members.
Yeah.
They got to be a great locker room guy. If you're in the locker room and you're not getting along there, it's going to show on stage and everywhere else, recording studio and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, I'm going to let you get to sleep.
Cool.
Hang on the line here, and we'll close out the show.
Thanks.
All right, bud. See ya.
Bye.
You're watching the Original Music Podcast.